Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Real Estate Pros Podcast. I'm Mike Stansberry. Special guest today, Darren Peterfi out of Mid-Michigan. How are you, sir?
I am fantastic. Michael, how about yourself?
Excellent, sir. Excellent. It's good to have you on the podcast. We're going to get into your story in a little bit, but first we've got to talk about Investor Fuel. Investor Fuel, we help real estate investors, service providers, and real estate entrepreneurs 2 to 5x their businesses to allow them to build the businesses they've always wanted and to allow them to live the lives they've always dreamed of. So, Darren, tell me, I always like to hear, what's the origin story? How did you, what were you doing before real estate? What made you pivot to get into this industry?
Well, it's a great story, to be honest with you. I just got out of the military, and I got home. I had a young daughter. I went to work at the auto dealership, and was working in service and buying our home, and it spent about a year after getting out of the service, kind of getting prepped to buy a new home. We rented for a year, figured out where we wanted to be, and as we're going through the process, the appraiser came out to the house, and I was talking with the appraiser, and I'm a numbers guy, and I kind of talking with him, and I'm just like, wow, this is kind of a cool industry. This is a kind of cool opportunity, and so I looked into it a little bit, and I had a few people that I knew that were in mortgages, so I reached out and said, hey, if I became an appraiser, would you send us business? And they're like, absolutely. So ironically, I went and got my license as a trainee. I hired a licensed appraiser to come work for me because I had a pile of business coming in the door. So that's how I kind of got my foot in the door, and I've never been a conventional guy. Things have always been non-conventional for me. So we just kind of dove into that, and away we went. And then as time went along, opening real estate and mortgage and things, they just kind of became a synonymous factor for us. So I started the real estate company, and I had the mortgage partnership and real estate and appraisal, which kind of all fed each other at that time. And it was great because it gave me an innate ability to know about all of which. We had a title partnership, so I could see every facet of the way and understand what clients, would go through. So it helped us build a better process to understand. So it gave me that ability to kind of understand every platform. So as years have gone on, now I understand it better. It allows me to actually understand what every aspect is going through, and maybe some trials and tribulations along the way.
Wow. Okay. So started out in that industry, and then you got into one, and it just allowed you to spider out and see all the different verticals, all the different pieces of it. And I guess makes you more well-rounded. So how long in the business, Darren?
Well, it's funny. Today I kept saying, 27 years. And my daughter goes, Dad, you've been saying that for 2 years. You've been in it 29. I'm like, oh my gosh, am I really that old?
Yeah. Well, the kids have a way of telling the truth to you. sometimes. But so you've been through a couple market cycles, so you've seen some ups and downs. You've been able to weather the storms.
Right.
And now, in 2025, as you kind of do a landscape of your of how you're helping people with brokerage and all the things, what is it right now that you're helping the most people with? What is it specifically that you're doing?
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
It's twofold, to be honest with you. One is getting back to the basics, because everybody, wanted to try all these newfangled lead sources and social medias and all these things that were easy, right?
Right.
That they realized that pool is so saturated with people that the ability to bring deals in and help other people is just diminishing. So the first factor is getting back to the basics, and back to general lead generation and relationships and work on their database and their sphere and things that we know work. We know are tried and true because it's relational, right? And then the next thing is leveraging technology in the right way to put you back in front of people, in a real and one-on-one personal way.
So it is one of those things where, at some point markets are crazy enough to where anybody with a Instagram account can do some business. But when markets go in a different direction, and they're frustrated. Why isn't this working anymore? Well, that's not how you do business in a softer market. And so your whole thing is like, hey, we got to get back to basics. We got to get back to prospecting the way it's always worked. And from what I hear is like the other things are just add-ons. They help, but they don't necessarily generate all the time like tried and true lead gen.
Yep.
How are they taking that advice? How are the young people taking that advice?
Not very well. Because it's a generational thing, right? I'm a phone and in-person guy. I'm 54 years old. I'm just that handshake, look in the eye generation. Then you take the different generational era of the 30 and below, 32 and below. They're built on text messages, instant messages through social medias and social media posts. And they don't, as a whole, don't love that interaction, because the schools and the systems and everything else has kind of segregated that from them, right? Right. The online schools have segregated that personal interaction. So it makes it really hard for people of that age group to understand the value of interpersonal connection and that live body connection where it's not a digital relationship.
Yeah, I think there's an opportunity, and I see this in my market. I see this actually. I'm going to a networking event tonight. There used to be a lot more networking events before social media, before all these things, because you felt you had a connection. I don't know if it's a felt connection, but you had the data point, you had the information, but you didn't have necessarily the connectivity that happens when you're in front of somebody and you're actually at an event and you're talking through some things. And I see that as an opportunity for people who go out and either create their own opportunities for networking or take advantage of, whatever is a live in-person event to get there is going to win, I think, coming forward. But the people who don't do that, the people who are just, they don't have that skill set, may struggle with that a bit. And it is a tough thing for that generation. I'm sure you have kids that are that age as well. And are they working in the business at all, Darren?
So one does and one semi does. One of them, it works for me here. I worked with me really. And she's way dynamic, way more dynamic than I am. Her energy level is, now, and it's what's cool is now she's putting the pieces together of things she learned when she was younger, with the life skill set she's learned. And it's cool to see that kind of start to come together now. And then my other daughter does photography. So she does some of our photography. She has a lot of she loves the art side of it, and so when I ask her, she's like, yeah, no problem. She'll do our photography for our homes and such, but she really loves more of the weddings and venues and things of that nature she does. So the little bit in it, but not so much.
Yeah, doing some other things with the photography as well. You can do I know a lot of folks that have the media piece and they do the listings, but they also get to do some of that stuff that your daughter's doing as far as the weddings are concerned. And that's pretty fun stuff. But are they both kind of entrepreneurs made out of the same stuff?
Yeah.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Awesome.
Yeah, my wife is an entrepreneur. She's owned her business for 25 years. And me and yeah, they've just kind of followed suit. My oldest daughter went to work corporate for 10 years at AT&T, which was a great opportunity for her to see the outside world versus just what my business, in our little world had, right? So it really honed in a lot of skill sets for her working in that corporate side to be able to say, okay, I don't want this life. As I'm going forward in life, this is not where I want to be. Dad's off on vacation here. He's building a new home. He's doing this. He's doing that. That's what I want in life. So she shifted over and she's like, this is where I should have been 5 years ago. I said,
sometimes you got to go through that, right?
Exactly. Sometimes it's a tortured path. That's the right one.
Yes, and then you can. But that's what's great is that she had that North Star to look at and to compare it to. A lot of people don't. I talk to a lot of other entrepreneurial investors, and we both look at each other and go, we just, life is not, always great, but it's not what they're dealing with every day. As maybe as a corporatist or somebody that does isn't able to really have some of the time flexibility that an entrepreneur or real estate entrepreneur may have, and so I love it that she's unlocked that. So the other thing that Darren that you do is you also coach people in real estate and mortgages and maybe other verticals as well, other businesses as well. When did you get into coaching, and then what does that look like for you? How does that round out your week? How much time do you spend coaching people, and give us an example of some of the things that you do as a coach?
So I've been coaching for about 10, 12 years now. My week is filled with just time coaching independently with people. Sometimes it's individually, sometimes it's group, sometimes it's just a quick half hour, sometimes it's an hour, just depending on the need and what each client is kind of working through. I don't like that one blanket kind of game plan for every person.
Right.
A good coach develops an independent game plan for every player they have. If you're going to draft a star quarterback and my system designed for, a running quarterback and I draft a pocket passer, what's the likelihood of success? Minimal. So you want to make sure you've got a good game plan for the players that you have. So I take the time and my first meetings with everybody typically is an hour just to get to know you, understand who you are, what your strengths are, what your abilities are, and then start working on a game plan and how to build a solid business off of that. And then, and then it's variable for everybody. Sometimes it's a half hour once a week. Sometimes it's an hour every other week. And then some clients, like some of the rainmakers, I meet with them once a month, and they're coaching on a smaller level on the half hour weekly, just accountability. And then the bigger picture is like, hey, okay, I want to take and go from 50 to 100 million. How do I get there? And what do I implement? And now I'm holding accountable to those higher level systems to make sure that, that's what's getting done to get there.
Right. So it just, again, you kind of gameplay the individual is find out, well, hey, where they are in life, where they are in business, where do they need the most help at? And do you kind of coach? Do you have a system where you coach in perpetuity, or is it like, hey, here's the system, here's what it works, here's how it works, and then once you get to this point, maybe I coach you some more, or maybe you decide if there's something else for you. How does the program just work kind of individually, like as we go, we're going to figure this stuff out?
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Yeah, we've got, 2 or 3 different, 4 different like kind of game plans. You kind of get that gold, silver, bronze, platinum kind of, system that, hey, I want to get into coaching, but I don't have a lot of money, right? But I know I need some level of accountability. Okay, well, I've got coaching programs for as little as $100 a month, and that might be once a month for an hour, right? And that's that timeline that we're just kind of getting you going. So that way you're starting to build enough business that now you can go to the next level coaching. And then some people, they need once a week. And to be honest with you, some of them need twice a week, so a lot of it just depends on where they're at and what they're trying to do. I've never believed that there's just one shoe that fits all, so I try to leave it fluid. My coaches even tell me, Darren, you're nuts. You're offering too much availability and blah, blah, blah. But, my vision and goal in life is to change 10,000 lives. There's 10,000 different personalities and needs out there in that world, right?
Right.
How do I change 10,000 lives if I say, here's the box you got to fit in, and if you don't fit in that box, sorry, can't help you, right? And that doesn't fit my vision. That doesn't fit my long-term life vision. So, so every one of them is really kind of tailor-made to that individual, and I've got real estate people that I coach that I don't even coach real estate. I simply coach business ownership.
Right.
Like, hey, I'm now a business owner and my product is real estate, but how do I transition from being a great agent to a great business owner that has agents and employees and things of that nature?
Right. I like it. And so Darren, so you got the brokerage, you're in real estate, you're coaching folks in different verticals, and you're also a real estate investor. Let's talk about that piece a little bit. Kind of, what are you doing now? What have you done in the past? Kind of tell us about that venture part of what Darren does.
So for a long time I had rentals, and not a ton. I think we had at the cap it was like 28, doors, and 28 units, which ended up being like 41 doors or something. But as the market started, making this turn in 08, I ended up selling them all off. And ironically, it wasn't because the turn, it was because I didn't like the person I was becoming collecting rent myself. It was hardening my heart, and that's not who I was. One day I literally woke up and said, I don't want to be the guy that is cynical all the time. And I literally made phone calls to investor friends, and I sold all of them that day.
Wow.
Every house was gone that day. And I said, when I go to do this again, it will be with a property manager at a company that I've developed, that my person I know runs it with the system I want, but I don't want to be the person that collects rent. So that's where we're at now. And fast forward these last 15 years, I focus more on flipping homes, because that's kind of where the market was, It was growing very fast, and you could pick up the homes, do the rehabs, and sell them. So I've used both my money and hard lending money. And I don't think there's a bad avenue in either one. I guess it just depends on your personal situation. Hard money gets a bad rap in a lot of ways because, it's fees and this and that. But to be honest with you, if I didn't have to put much money in, if I put 5% of my own money or 10% of my own money into a gig and I made $40,000, it cost me 12 to do the deal, but I made 40. What am I missing, right?
Right. Everybody wins there. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. If you don't do bad deals, so you can't. If you can't do bad deals, right? But if you do, hard money has its place if you're able to get a really good deal. I like it.
100%. 100%. So we've been doing that now, and now we're shifting back into buying more investment, hold properties, because now we have our management company, and I've got a few clients that wanted me to manage some of theirs. So. And I got a great person in place, so that now is able to kind of handle itself, So that's worked out really well. But it's just the right time, I mean, everybody talks about seasons of life and where they want to be, and sometimes it sounds great, but you're just not in that place in business, right? I'm still working on step 2 and 3, and that's step 5, and
right.
You can't skip the steps, because if you do, now you've got a disaster on your hands.
Right. Because you didn't learn the 3 and 4. You skip right to 5 and you're like, what am I missing? Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. Which 4 was the big key part, right?
4 was the big key part. 4 is when you learned all the lessons that help you become exponential. So
yep,
I like that.
Yep.
I like that, Darren, and I like that. That's really good for our audience to hear about not only the uses of for hard money, but again, the pivots that you made and why you made them. So many people get into something and then it gets too late for them. They're already in it and they're too deep in it and they don't feel like they can pivot. You felt like, hey, I'm turning into a person I don't want to turn into, and I know the exact reason why. And you took massive action that day. And so massive action solves a lot of problems. Even it solves the problem of not becoming the person you don't want to become. So I like that you did that. Well, Darren, where can people find out more about you, about your brokerage, about coaching? What does that look like?
So I'm probably the most accessible person in the world. Our office number is super easy. It's 855-58-HOMES. Our website is tobeexclusive.com. My cell number 810-397-9179. I'm just that easy. Right.
That easy.
My email is Darren@tobeexclusive.com. It's easy. You Google it, it's there. It's all wide open. I've never felt like if you're going to be a good coach and you're going to be a good person in this world, you should never hide, right? And everything should just be an open book, and here it is, and this is what I've got. And when you email me, it's easy because then I can just get right on my calendar. It auto responds. Thank you for your email. If you'd like to schedule time with me, it's tied to my calendar. You can get time right on there. A lot of people that want to do coaching, I'll do a free half-hour session with you just to see if we're a good fit, right? And make sure that we're going to walk the path together. So they can literally email me. I get an instant response, jump on my calendar, and I'll spend some time with you and see if I can help. And if it's something that makes sense, great. We'll start working together. And if not, it's no harm, no foul. Kind of like a listing appointment, right?
Right.
You go out there and, if it's a good fit, great. You hire me, and 32% of the time I've got, we're together,
Absolutely. I like it. Well, folks, if you want more information, the information for Darren will be in the show notes below. And so get in touch with him if that's something that you'd like to find out more information about. Get on his calendar and find out if he's a good fit for you. And Darren, again, thank you for being on the Real Estate Pros podcast. Really appreciate your time, sir.
No problem. I appreciate you having me on, Michael. It's always great to get out there and get an opportunity to share some stuff with people and help change lives, right? That's really what it's all about, and we're getting ready to launch a new series right now, which is going to be great for a lot of people, that may be interested in doing stuff, is leveraging digital platforms to increase your sales in real estate. And, Amazon has done a great job of geofencing and some of this data, that people know is data is king anymore. So now we're able to capitalize on some of that in real estate and leverage that data to start ensuring you're getting more listings. And I've got agents that are tripling their business right now in listing market because of leveraging this technology. So I'm getting ready to kind of put that out to the public as to how they can do this and how they can build their business that way, because everybody wants to build through listings. And if I can get in front of people before somebody else does, that's a win right there.
Right. Yeah. Always try to be first. I like it.
Yep. In the great words of Ricky Bobby, if you're not first, you're last.
If you're not first, you're last. That's right. Well, folks, again, thanks for watching the Real Estate Pros Podcast. You remember, do like and subscribe, comment, do all the things that the influencers tell you to do. We will be back next week. We'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.